Hello everyone, Tina here. I hope you're having a great day. Well, today I get to share with you a couple of projects for Gerda Steiner Designs. We're going to start off by, I want to show you the stamp sets here. This is the Carol Kitten Stamp Set. So if you're a kitty lover, you have some cute little caroling kittens with some great expressions. And if you're a dog lover, they have the Carol Puppies. Now this has some cute little doggy images on there. So furry friend friendly. Okay, I took the Carol Kitten, just one of the Carol Kittens, and then 3 of the Carol Puppies. We're going to make 2 projects, so I'm going to stamp them all at once, and we're going to color them all at once as well. I'm inking up my images with Copic Friendly ink. It's Memento Tuxedo Black, and I'm stamping them on some Neenah 80-pound cardstock with my Mini Misty here. Once we have those stamped, I did leave the coloring in. I left the caps out for you guys, and then I also, sometimes my caps are hard to read, and so I left them up in the left-hand corner for you guys. But I'll play a little bit of music, and when I'm done coloring, I will catch you back. Okay, coloring is all done. Now I'm just using my Uniball white gel pen and going around the areas where I went outside the lines just to clean it up a little bit. And now I'm going to take the coordinating dies and cut out each one of my images. Now, they are so cute, but I wanted to add a little bit of sparkle to their hats. So using my Nuvo Deluxe adhesive, I'm going to go over the white portions of each one of my Furry Friends hats here. I'm going to be using some chunky glitter, and this doesn't have any iridescence to it. It's just almost clear. So it's going to give my little Santa hats the illusion of it being that fluffy material, but it's going to give it a little bit of sparkle too. So I'll do that to each one of my little Santa hats. So cute. Once they're all done, we're going to set them aside to dry, and now we're going to work on our first card sentiment. So I have a 1-inch strip of white cardstock. I'm going to stamp with red ink today. I'm going to use my Distress Oxide inks. So I'll place my cardstock inside my Mini Misty. Now I'm going to use the sentiment that says Joy to the World. It's 2 different parts. Starting with the joy, I'm going to place it all the way to the left, and I'll place the rest of the sentiment all the way to the right. So there's a little open area. That's where we're going to place our Carol Kitten. I thought that would be fun. So I'm going to use my candied apple first, and then I do have festive berries. I want to create a gradient with my red inks here. Starting off again with candied apple, we'll stamp that. We'll go over our stamp, and then I went over the bottom portion of our stamp with the festive berries, but the colors were just a little too close in color. There, I couldn't see a gradient whatsoever. So I decided to go with all candied apple, and I wanted a gradient. So I was determined to try and get a gradient. So my solution was to use some seedless preserves. It's a purple ink, but when you add it to the red, it will create a deep plum color. And I was happy with the way this turned out because it coordinated really well with my little Santa hats. So that's our sentiment. We'll set our Messy Misty aside and kind of figure out our placement. And I think she'll look great there. Now, for my background, I have an embossing folder that has music notes on it, and I thought it'd be perfect. I cut out a panel that's 4 inches by 5 1/4. We'll just place that inside our embossing folder. Now, the music notes on here are landscape, which is perfect because I want to make a landscape style card. So I embossed that. Now I want to stamp some little music notes. I'm going to use the little music note die here, and I'm going to cut out my music notes first. Now I'm doing this because the music notes in the stamp set, they don't line up with the die. You die cut out your music notes first, and then you can stamp. I'm going to use some VersaFine Onyx Black ink and just go over each one of my little music notes. And they stamp beautifully. It's easy to line up too. Once everything is stamped, I'm going to go ahead and adhere my sentiment to a piece of black and white striped pattern paper. I thought the black and white striped kind of resembled the bars on a music sheet. So we added that. I'm going to use some foam tape and place that behind our sentiment. And now we're going to go ahead and place our embossed background on our card base. Our card base today is, well, almost every day is an A2 size card base, which is 4 1/4 by 5 1/2 inches. It's going to be a side folding, so we'll just tape down our embossed background right in the center. Lovely. We'll remove the release paper off of our sentiment, and we're going to place that towards the bottom of our card base here. And I need to get it straight. We'll place some foam tape behind our Carol Kitten. Place that right in between our sentiment. Super cute. Now I did take some foam tape and popped up my music notes. I didn't use all of them, but I used a few, and I placed them in my background. And then for a little sparkle, I went in with some red sequins that I had in my stash. I just added 3. And that completes my first project. I like the clean look of this, and I love that little music folder background. And if I can find it, guys, I'll leave it linked down below. But if I can't find it, I'll try and leave a substitute for you guys in case you're interested. Now, for project number 2, I used that same embossing folder, but this time I'm going to do a portrait style card. So I only embossed the top portion of my panel here, and it's the same size panel as before. It's 4 inches by 5 1/4. I left the bottom open because one, it wouldn't fit portrait style, and I thought that's the perfect area to stamp my sentiment. The sentiment for this card is super cute. It says, "Have a howly jowly Christmas." Now I took my scissors and separated them only because the sentiment was offset and I wanted them centered in the center of my panel here. So I just did a little cutting. Super easy to put back together too. I'll stamp that with some VersaFine Onyx Black ink on the bottom. Lovely. Now we'll grab our little critters, and I did put foam tape behind them. I'm kind of figuring out my placement, and originally I was just going to leave my critters, but I thought I didn't want to add snowbanks. I've added so many snowbanks to my cards this year, and I thought, well, we'll add something a little bit different, but I did want something else behind them. So I decided to take a piece of white cardstock, and using Distress Oxide inks again, I'm going to use some peeled paint, and I'm going over this cardstock very blotchy. And I also grabbed Twisted Citron, some green inks. I didn't mind that they were blotchy because we're going to use some pine needle dyes. Now, I've had these for a while, and I don't know if they're available. But again, if I can't find them, I will leave a substitute for you guys. But these are cute little pine needles. I just die cut out a few of those. And then I did add some foam tape behind my critters. Now I'm not pressing down all the way yet because I'm going to tuck some of those pine needles around my little images. And I'll just use glue to do my little tucking. I just thought a little greenery would be super nice. So once we have all our pine needles behind there, I was happy with the outcome. I'm just going to add a couple red sequins to this card as well. And I did place that panel on an A2 size card base. I just used my tape runner. But that finishes off my second project. Super cute stamp sets, whether you're a dog lover or a kitty lover. I think these are perfect. Thanks for joining me, guys. I wish you a fantastic day, and we will see you again real soon. Bye-bye.